Okay, my name's Chloe Helms, and today for my audience members, I have Lauren, my friend Peyton, and my friend Kayla. My specific purpose statement is to persuade my audience why they should care about the dangers and harms of sex trafficking and that action needs to be taken to end sex trafficking. First, I'm going to tell you about the reality of sex trafficking. Secondly, I will tell you why you should care. And lastly, I'll tell you what you can do to help. First, I'm going to show a video about how someone typically gets involved in sex trafficking.
Her story begins like any other. She desires relationships that are safe, supportive, affection. But what she took for love turned manipulative, violent, controlling, isolated, lost into a world of trafficking. Because buyers pay traffickers to supply younger and younger children.
Sex trafficking is happening to people like you. It doesn't discriminate on age, race, gender, or religion. Anyone can be a victim. Human trafficking is in many different forms such as forced labor, bonded labor, involuntary domestic servitude, forced child labor, and child soldiers and sex trafficking. Shared Hope International states that sex trafficking occurs when someone uses force, fraud, or coercion to cause commercial sex act with an adult or causes a minor to commit a commercial sex act. The Polaris Project has many organizations, and globally the International Labour Organization estimates that there are 4.5 million people trapped in forced sexual exploitation. Some of you may not argue that sex trafficking isn't important and that will never affect you, but anyone is at risk at any time, anywhere. Sex trafficking can affect you and others around you. Most people involved in sex trafficking don't escape the life. The people lured into it are helpless and desperate for money. The ones who are kidnapped and drugged into human trafficking die within weeks. This issue is life-threatening and needs to be put to a stop. Now the question is, how do you help stop the problem of human trafficking? Leif Korlum and Dana Ford from CNN wrote that more than 3,500 sex trafficking cases were reported to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center last year alone. Atlanta's illegal sex industry brings in nearly $290 million a year. A CBS article on sex trafficking states that Atlanta is one of the largest hubs for human trafficking in our country. How many people know about sex trafficking? A lot. Do they do anything about it? Nope. People turn their backs to the victims of sex trafficking when they really need to turn their back around and help stop it. An estimate of 700,000 women and girls are enslaved on a global scale. About 50,000 come to the United States. Many of these women are lured into trafficking under the false promises of employment. Once they arrive in a new country, they are enslaved by traffickers and forced into prostitution. Sex trafficking is an issue and precautions need to be taken now. There are ways you can prevent this, and you should want to prevent this issue because it can affect you, your friends, and your family. Why should you get involved in organizations to prevent this issue? Because understanding how this affects people's lives and the endangerment of this issue makes people more aware of how dangerous and large this industry is. But don't worry, there is a way you can help stop human trafficking. Polaris Project is an organization that connects hundreds of organizations from around the world that help prevent trafficking. Some of the organizations include Walk Free Foundation, Freedom Fund, and Global Modern Slavery Directory. Hotlines help reach more victims and understand where and how human trafficking is happening. These programs provide learning centers, job opportunities, data collections, and most importantly, provide services to survivors such as therapy sessions, workshops, and case management. The most effective way of helping to prevent this problem is raising awareness. The state government has 20 ways you can get involved, and some of them include starting or signing a human trafficking petition, learning the red flags that may indicate human trafficking, and ask follow-up questions so that you can help identify a potential trafficking victim. You can donate funds or needed items to anti-trafficking organizations in your area, and you can also take action on your campus. You can join or establish a university or secondary school club to raise awareness about human trafficking and initiate action throughout your local community. It might be happening where you live. Stories about human trafficking are often set in faraway places like cities in Cambodia, or small towns like Moldova or rural areas of Brazil. But human trafficking happens in cities and towns all over the world, including the United States, specifically Atlanta. We can stop sex trafficking and prevent our future generations from having this problem in their world. The United States government is trying to help. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Missouri launched the Human Trafficking Rescue Project in 2006 to combat human trafficking. The federal task force is comprised of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. The task force has also partnered with non-government organizations of human trafficking. Remember, it can happen to anyone, and what if it happened to you? I hope that I persuaded you and encouraged you to get involved in these organizations to help prevent the major issue of sex trafficking, because it could save a life or the life of a close friend. Sex trafficking is an issue, and you should get involved to help prevent it, because it could affect you and your family or your friends. There are 14,500 to 17,500 humans are being trafficked into the U.S. annually. We need to end this now. After listening to my speech, I hope I have persuaded you to take action about this public issue and at least make an effort to get involved and possibly save someone's life.